here we go. We're going to practice writing verbal expressions to represent problems, okay? Now, when you guys look at this expression, does anybody know how to write this without saying the word minus? Without saying minus. Hey!
Go to the whole thing.
Sure. See what happens.
5 less than 2 times the number equals 4.
5 less than 2 times a number equals 4. Now, Peyton, I'm glad you said that, because actually what you said, when you said 5 less than 2 times a number, actually, Peyton, 5 less than 2 times a number equals 4 is written like that. This is 5 less than 2 times a number equals 4. So I'm glad you said that, because that's a common error. He's like, great, you're recording. Actually, it's a good recording, because that's a very, very common error that students need to realize that a lot of people, Peyton, by the way, is very good at math. All right? And so even people who are good at math make mistakes. I'm one of them, sometimes. So 5 less than 2 times the number equals 1. So we've got to change that. So, how could we write it where we put this in the back? So think about that. I'm going to pause it, you guys think about it. So this right here, the 2x means 2 times the number. But as a sentence, you could say 2 times a number is actually what? It's less than 5. 2 times a number less than 5 is, by the way, is you could also use for the equal sign, is 4. That's one way of writing. All right? 2 times a number less than 5 is 4. Okay? Now, another way of thinking about this, obviously, what's an easy way of writing this? 5 minus 2 times a number is 4. That's probably the easiest way to write it. Okay? Another way we could write it, how could I write that whole expression? Whenever you see a minus sign, I don't want you to just think the word minus. I also want you to think of the word difference. Yeah. Difference between two numbers. All right? So I want you to also write this down as the difference between. And whenever you write the words the difference between, Garrett, you always go in order. So the difference between 5 and, instead of saying 2 times, I could also say twice a number is 4. So the difference between 5 and 2 times or twice a number is 4. Or you could say is equal. So I want you guys to have multiple representations. There's multiple ways of saying the same thing. Okay? All right, so let's go down to a more difficult one here. Let's all go down to number 8. Okay? So let's look at number 8. Go and put number 8 in your journal. All right, so what I want you to do is I'm going to highlight some things right now. I'm going to highlight 3 parts, and then we're going to write words that go with them, and then we'll write the whole sentence. Okay? So what I'm going to do right now, I want my board to reset. There we go. There's working. All right, I'm going to highlight this part. I'm going to highlight this part right here. Then I'm going to highlight this expression right here in the parentheses. Now, there's multiple ways to use words to describe what's happening between this number and 5. All right? Somebody want to give a shout of what they could write down that you think is true between the number and 5? What does this mean?
A number divided by 5.
A number divided by 5. I like it. All right? A number divided by 5. That's one way. There's another way that you could also write. Because a number divided by 5, the answer to a division problem is called the quotient. So you could say the quotient the number 5. The word 5. There we go. So a number divided by 5, or you could say the quotient of a number and 5. By the way, order matters. All right? If I said the quotient of 5 in a number, that would be 5 over n instead of n over 5. So order matters when you're writing this. Okay? All right, we look at this 3. What is this 3? What's happening here? It's being multiplied, right, to all of that. So we could use the words what? You could say the words 3 times, correct? 3 times something, okay? You know what a cool word to say when you're saying 3 times something with just one word? By the way, if it's 2 times something, we call that twice something. 3 times something, you could say, it's not a very common word. You could say thrice. I know, it's cool, it's a real word. You use it in English class. Thrice. That costs thrice what it cost before. All right, 3 times what it cost before. So thrice. All right, you like that word? You don't like that word? Yeah. Words don't like you. Just kidding. All right, so right here, what word could we use for the equal sign besides equals? Yeah, you could say is. You could say is the same as. All right, so there's lots of different ways. Now, the most difficult one, I'm going to put a little arrow over here, give us time to write this one. This is the most difficult one, all right? Because this is actually the sum of 2 numbers. It's the sum of 2 numbers. One of the numbers is 1, and the other number is 2 times a number. Okay? So this is actually the sum of twice the number and 1. So this right here refers to as the sum of twice the number and 1. When I say the number, I'm talking about the same number, right? M is still M. So I'm still not saying a number, but I'm saying the number, or you can say that number. All right, so you're still using the same number. Okay? So what are we going to do? We're going to take a blue statement. We're going to combine it with an orange statement. Then we're going to combine it with the red statement, and then finish it off with the green statement. So what I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to write a sentence that has all the colors together in your journal. Okay? And then we'll see what you come up with. All right, now that you've had time to kind of practice it, we're going to write it all down together. All right? I'm going to write the quotient. You didn't have to say the quotient. You could say a number divided by 5. But the quotient of a number and 5, I'm going to change color to say equals three times changing colors, 3 times the sum of twice the number and 1. So everything's combined. You have everything written out, and that describes exactly what's happening in that equation. Okay? Now, whenever you have an equation, you're always going to have an equal sign. Okay? So when I say write the verbal expression for the equation, you know you're going to have an equal sign in there. Okay? If I say write the verbal, write it down as a verbal expression, describe the algebraic expression with words, then you don't have to put an equal sign. All right? Okay. So here's number 7, broken down. I'm not going to write the final sentence, but you could write the combination of those happening in number 7. All right? We're going to move over to number 6. All right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this part right here. I'm going to highlight this part right here and this part right here. All right? So how would we describe in words what's happening between the 3 and the y? So what the 3 is 3 and 1. So, okay. 3 times a number. Very good. So we're going to write 3 times a number put, let's see here, I'll do it in orange here. This right here, there's your equals, right? All right, equals. All right, now that 4 is right next to a letter. Whenever a number is right next to a letter, what is that letting you know? That's being times. It's being times. So we have 4. I'm going to put 4 times. That's what that means right there. Equals 4. There we go. 4 times. Now this number right here, this number is what? Being cubed. This is a number cubed. Now some students wrote a number raised to the 3rd power, or to the power of 3. Okay? So it equals 4 times the number cubed. Alright? So 3 times a number equals 4 times the number cubed. I'll put the right here. Because if I say the, I'm referring to the exact same number. I'm not referring to a different number being cubed. So if I change the y, this y right here, if I change it to an x, then I'd have to make a difference between the two. Alright? So it's the same number, make sure you refer back to that number with using the or that. Okay? Alright, well that's what we're going to do today as far as verbal descriptions now.